Hi, I'm going to show you how I made the three-way joint that I've used in my footstool recently. Now I can't find this joint in any of the literature I have, but I'm sure it exists and it must have a name, so if you know that, please leave it in the comments. One component has a mortise and a dovetail socket, another has a dovetail, and the third has a tenon. The dovetail goes together first, followed then by the tenon, and optionally a peg can be used to lock the whole joint together. Preparation is key for accurate marking out, and as you can see here I'm squaring off the end of one of the components. That done, I can mark out for the joinery, and here you can see I'm knifing in the lines for the dovetail socket. The note on the bench in front of me holds all the information I need to mark in this socket and also the mortise. Marking in the waste material is a really good habit to get into, although for videos I go a bit overboard so that you can see what I've done. Here I'm just using a marking gauge to mark in for the mortise with two different settings, and with each setting I'm also marking for the tenon on the other component. So I've used most of my pencil up here to mark out the waste in the mortise and the dovetail socket, and you can clearly see the tenon piece here equally well marked out, and the dovetail piece. So chopping out the mortise, just use whatever technique you're used to. Here I'm actually chopping out the mortise in the top rail from the footstool, and I just produce a little channel which helps guide the chisel when I'm chopping. Now I'm not using heavy chopping here because I'm near the end of the component. I don't want to risk splitting it out. Now it's possible to saw in half of each side of the dovetail socket, but after that it'll be chopping. The tenon cheeks get ripped in the vise, and then I can cross cut the shoulders. After some clean up of the dovetail and tenon shoulders and a little bit of fitting, everything will come together nice and snug. Why not have a go at making this joint yourself? In fact, why not make my footstool? There are free plans available on my website to download, and there's definitely some satisfaction in getting this joint right. All the individual parts are quite simple, and it's very good practice for woodworking. If you wanted to put a peg in it, now would be the time to bore a hole and chisel it square for the peg. But I decided just to use glue, and that's worked absolutely fine, and it gives the look that I wanted. Thanks for watching, and thanks to my patrons for making it all possible. See you again soon. Cheerio.